Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wa sallallahu wa sallam ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam amma ba'd. Continuing on in discussing the characteristics of the da'i, the one who propagates the religion of Islam, And before continuing on with the statements of Hassan al-Iraqi, hafidhullah ta'ala, who put together a very, very important book which makes clear the minhaj and methodology of calling to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the characteristics of the da'i. I wanted to read something which was asked to Sheikh Salih bin Fawzan, hafidhullah ta'ala, who is one of the major scholars of today that is living from the Hayat al-Kibar al-Ulama. He is presently in Riyadh, and he was asked a very important question regarding the Dawah to Salafiyah, regarding the correct methodology, the Orthodox Islamic creed. And the question was, the questioner said, there is a group from amongst the students and youth who have formed a faction, monopolize Salafiyah, claim that their brothers are innovators, made tabdi of them, and fanatically adhere to their opinions. So what is Salafiyah? So this is making clear again what is Salafiyah before we go back to the characteristics of the da'i, the one who calls Salafiyah. The Shaykh Hafidhullah Ta'ala responded by saying, Salafiyah, the Salafi, is the one who is upon the methodology of the Salaf. Allah the Exalted says, and the first to embrace Islam of the Muhajirun and the Ansar and all those who follow them exactly in faith. Surah At-Tawbah. And He the Exalted also says, and there is a share for those who came after them, saying, our Lord forgive us and our brothers who preceded us in faith. Surah Al-Hashr. Thus, Salafiyah is following the Salaf from the companions, the Sahaba, the successors, those who came after the Sahaba, the Tabi'een, their students, Itba' Tabi'een, and the virtuous generations. This is Salafiyah. It is not permissible for anyone to monopolize it. Each and every individual that follows the methodology of the Salaf as-Salih, Salafiyah, is not specific to any group or individual. Rather, it is for anyone who truly embodies it. Also, I encourage the youth and students of knowledge to be above this name calling, he's Salafi, he's Jami, he's Ikhwani. I do not deem this to be befitting because these things have started to alienate the Muslims and their youth and cause fitna. I encourage sticking to the Book of Allah and the Sunnah of His Messenger and the Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and the methodology of the Salaf as-Salih, and that we be brothers who love each other for Allah's sake. Allahu Akbar. Intaha Kalam al-Shaykh. That was a very beautiful statement, and it was translated by Tahir Wyatt, Abu Abdurrazzaq, Hafidhullah Ta'ala, Talib al-Ilm, who is very well known to us, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless him with ikhlas with that, and bless us all with ikhlas with that. Continuing on with the characteristics of a da'i. Going on to the back, making a revision, the first characteristic was, of course, sincerity to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Secondly, having knowledge and basira, having insight. And the third is beginning with tawheed. And the fourth is being cautious of general statements and bringing details when necessary, especially related to aqidah and so forth. The fifth statement is having lean and rifq, being gentle and kind. And the sixth characteristic is a haras ala hidayat al-khalq, is that the person who is calling to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has a love and a desire for the guidance of the creation. This is the da'i, this is da'wah Allah. This is the minhaj al-Salafiyah. This is da'wah to Ahl Sunnah. This is calling to the Sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, is that a person should be wanting for others to be guided to the Sunnah and not to be alienated, and want for other people to enter the paradise, not the hellfire. Wa'iyadhan billah. The seventh principle, the seventh characteristic, as-sad' bil-haqqi min ghayri taraddud wa i'rad amman khalaf al-haqq wa adama اقتراف به لقوله تعالى فأسدع بما تؤمر وإعراض عن المشركين. The seventh characteristic is that to be firm on the truth without having doubts, without wavering, and avoiding those things which differ with the truth, which go against the truth, which contradict the truth. And also being concerned with not with holding fast to the truth and avoiding, differing with the truth. And this is in accordance with the statement of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who said, adhere to what you are commanded and avoid the mushrikeen, and avoid the pagans, and avoid the polytheists. This is what the da'i is ordered to do, to hold firm to the truth without wavering. The eighth characteristic, التودد للمدعين مدعوين وتحبب إليهم عسى أن يسمعوا الحق وهذا حال الرسل جميعا. So the eighth characteristic is having love for those people who you call to the truth. This is also a characteristic of the da'i. How can you sincerely call someone to the truth if you don't have love for them? And even when your brother goes astray, this is my talikat, this is not from the book, but that you should want good for your brother when you see your brother making a mistake. If you see him make a mistake, correct him, your brother or sister in Islam. But don't be quick to be harsh with them. So you should love those people who you're calling to the truth. You should have love for them, love for their guidance, love and hope that they will listen to the truth. And this was the condition of all the messengers. The ninth characteristic, إعذار من تاب وعدم التثريب عليه ولو آذك من قبله كما قال يوسف لإخوته لا تثريب عليكم اليوم. The ninth characteristic that the da'i should possess is that they should be able to excuse the person who makes tawbah, the person who repents, and not express disapproval and distrust in them, even if they caused you harm from before. And this is in accordance with the statement of Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam to his brothers, who when it was said, La tathrib alaykum al-yawm, and do not reproach upon, and do not have reproach, do not have reproach upon you this day. Okay, so then you should not express disapproval. You should have a willingness to overlook when a person has made sincere tawbah, to overlook their mistakes or their past mistakes, accept their tawbah, and do not express disapproval of them. The 10th characteristic, ألا تمنن على من هداه الله على يديك كما قال تعالى ولا تمنن تستكثر. And then he said under Tafsir al-Sa'di, which we don't have with us. So he said that you should express, that you should have hope for the guidance for the person who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has guided for you. That you should not not believe that you should gain a reward from them or something like this, but you should instead not expect anything from them. You should not hope or expect anything from them as a reward except for seeking the face of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is the reward for giving guidance. The 11th characteristic that the guy should possess. يكون مثلك في تحمل أذى الناس والصبر عليهم في سبيل الله كمثل نخلة تلقى بالحجر وتلقي بالتمر وذلك مثل المؤمن كما في حديث عبد الله بن عمر أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال إن من شجرة لا يسقط ورقها وهي مثل المسلم حدثوني ما هي فوقع الناس في شجر البادية ووقع في نفسي أنها نخلة قال عبد الله فاستحييت فقالوا يا رسول الله أخبرنا بها فقال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم هي النخلة. The 11th characteristic that the guy should have is that he should set an example and be able to withstand and be patient on the harm of the people for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If someone is harming you, someone's assassinating your character, that for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, being patient and being able to try to be patient during that harm. As-sabr ala adhafi. And to be like similar to the palm tree, the date palm tree, which it comes from a rock-like seed, and it produces fruit. It produces a tamar, a date. And this is the example of the believer. Similar to the hadith of Abdullah bin Umar radiallahu anhu, which was, the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, that there's a tree from amongst the trees that leaves do not fall. That leaves do not fall from it. And it is the example of the mu'min or the Muslim. Tell me what tree this is. So then the people began to think that maybe it's the tree of the trees in the valleys, or that it is then Abdullah ibn Umar radiallahu anhu, he began to think to himself that maybe this is the date palm tree. Maybe this is a palm tree. So then, but he was shy to say that in front of the Prophet ﷺ because he had doubt. Then they said, O Messenger of Allah, tell us what it is. Tell us which tree. فقال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم, the Prophet ﷺ said, it is the date palm tree. So the believer should be firm upon the truth and should produce fruit from his da'wah with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the case of the da'i to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we will end there and mention the next 6 characteristics in our next sitting. And I ask Allah the Almighty to accept our good and forgive our evil. All the mistakes that I made were from myself and the shaitan. And all the good that I said was from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if anyone has any feedback for mistakes I may have made, then I will readily accept them. And I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept our good and forgive our evil. Wa sallallahu wa sallam ala nabiyyina Muhammad.